What's up, everybody? Tristan's Shop Talk, another episode 14, July 18th, 2024. Thank you for showing up. Definitely, definitely going into something right away. But just to start off, everybody's power is back on. Majority. I wanted to add this on. Earlier, I had checked my center point and just checked to see. Just curious how many people they still had to, I guess help out or whatever you want to call it. So right now they're sitting at customers out are at 4,852, and then within the last 24 hours, 72,991. I mean, with that being said, I mean, they're now they're rocking and rolling. I mean, obviously, the weather's a little better. I mean, it's still hot. I'll give it to them, but that's it. I'm not getting anything else to these. Um, I'm just not. I'm just not even giving them any other credit because our neighborhood was obviously spared. By not being that long, but overall, I mean, that number was a lot higher 8 days ago, 9 days ago, 10 days ago. And then, there were still people without power. So, I mean, I definitely feel there needs to be an investigation into Centerpoint and, where did they drop the ball? Where was there not a game plan? Why did they not use these generators? There's just a lot of questions that need to be brought up as in, what really happened. So, so, I mean, it is what it is. It's done, but it wasn't cool. I mean, it's kind of sad because on top of that, there was obviously elderly people that were forgotten about sitting in their place without any type of energy or any type of electricity at all, so whatsoever. I mean, not everybody has family, not everybody has somebody to come and check on them, So, I mean, on the sad part, which is why I'm saying there needs to be some type of investigation, to overall, the CEO. Yeah, so I mean, the CEO, I use this framework for other companies I've worked for. I'm not going to really say specifically what other company, but I mean, you see this a lot throughout most companies. Most companies, use the CEO sits nice. They sit, and they go and they do what they do, and then but then you have people that depend on their service, and nothing, nothing. No, but they're fine. The board members, the CEO, VP, they're good. But then you're in charge of our power. And this is the company that you service our area, you oversee it. When things like this happen, there's supposed to be a tough enough infrastructure to where if anything happens, there's protocols, there's follow up, there's, I mean, so I hope they really do find out what happened. I feel the way things have been going lately, we'll find out a little bit, but not everything. And then, of course, depending if the media wants to keep on top of it, they will. But obviously, I'm gonna stay on top of it because, I mean, like I've said before, it's almost like a blueprint for a lot of other companies. I mean, we can obviously even compare the CEO of Boeing, faulty with the airplanes. So, I mean, what's really going on? I mean, what is really going on? Is it the fact that these, I mean, are these gentlemen just okay with being in their position and they're okay and they're just doing their job, whatever the job is that aligns with being a CEO of a very large company where you have, I mean, if not 2 million people that were without power, and then you drop the ball. So, I mean, like I said, accountability. Accountability. I've always been about accountability. Even in the last few jobs, used to get me in trouble because I used to speak up about accountability. But that's what I'm saying. Is this the direction that our economy, or I mean, pretty much our workplaces are going? Is this what's happening? I mean, we had linemen that were being attacked, and I blame Centerpoint on that too, because you had people blaming Centerpoint, and then they were taking it out on the linemen. It's kind of sad case. I don't agree with anything that I just don't agree with anything that where you just drop the ball and I mean they're like accountability. Just you know, I hope I mean obviously I know he's already gotten with his lawyers. I already know they've already been discussing exactly what they're going to explain, how they're going to explain it, what angle they're going to give. The reason they didn't use these huge generators, the reason they, I mean, and then again, I mean, I'll say this too, Sylvester Turner. I mean, he had worked with him. Well, he had worked with the Centerpoint before for all these other, uh, you know, things that we didn't really expect were going to happen. I mean, I lost count in the last few years, but I would say this is by far the worst. And I mean, thank God thank God they are all just uh, waiting. I guess to see. I mean, what questions are going to arise and what's going to happen. So I'll drop that one. You know, but yeah. So I mean, we'll go from there. Centerpoint. I'm not going to drop this, and I'm not blaming the workers. Like I said, I blame CEO and the board members, whoever's on the top, and then those are the ones I blame. There wouldn't be work if they're not the ones overseeing everything and making sure things are being done. So, uh, just saying. So I hope majority everybody I know, I mean, as far as I know, has gotten their power back on. So thank God for everybody and everybody's being safe. So cool. Now on to the next. So obviously, if you know me, you know me. Yeah, I mean, I've never really been a big person in politics, but overall, just the fact of doing politics. I mean, being I served in the military, so just from that point, now I just have a little bit, like things in general that I see, and I base it a lot on things that I've seen overseas, things I compare this country to, so forth, so forth. So my point is, usually on this podcast, I'm not going to be taking sides on, Republican, Democrat. I'm just right there where I'm just exposing just what are the faults on both sides, because I don't have time to be going back and forth. Um, I mean, I barely have time to keep up with what's going on, and it's already been very interesting. Um, I didn't have a podcast. I mean, I didn't have a follow up for Trump's attempted assassination, which is history. It's in the books already. I was actually watching it, and 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 that day I had got power, and I got back, and all I wanted to do was just eat my food and watch some TV. And usually I just throw it on my YouTube TV, and then I just play, and I'll play some news or something. So I just happened to see that, and I was like, oh, okay. And not but 5 minutes just watching into it, this occurred. Or I don't even know how many minutes, but whatever. I just know I turned it on. I did a few things. I went back to my table and I sat my food down. I did some things. I went to get a drink. And the next time I turned back, I see like all this. Like I went back and then I saw them just rush. And then I stopped and I just looked at the TV and I was like, oh, damn. It's attempted assassination on Trump. From that point, I was just like, wow, did this just happen? And then I saw him get stormed off by Secret Service. And even watching that on even watching the Secret Service, I did see faults. Even me, I've never even done protection, but just watching in general, just the little things that were happening, I was like, I really thought they would have done a little bit more to keep him more in and not raising his hand the way he did. I mean, it did throw a good, cool picture for him raising his hand the way he did. But overall, like I really thought they were going to be more strict. Uh, I mean, it was kind of strange. And then even after the fact, I right away, my mind started going, mind started rolling. And then as soon as my mind started rolling, um, from that point, it was just like little questions that I had on my end. And then, of course, they were replaying it. Um, and then, actually, things have been so busy for me this last week. I think I did have a follow up from it. And then obviously, yeah, I did. So, because obviously, I would have been talking about the Secret Service last time. So, yeah, I get so mixed up. So, so my point was, so when I saw this and I witnessed it, I just couldn't believe it happened, and I just, rewatching it, I was just like, wow. And then on one end of me, I wasn't, I'll be honest, I wasn't too surprised that this had, that this happened because of everything, the tensions that have been going on for both parties and all this back and forthness. So nobody ever deserves that. Nobody deserves anything like that to ever happen to anybody. So whatsoever. Where I used to work at, I dealt with a lot of gunshot victims. So being in a situation where you have people that are worried about family members that their family member was shot, that's not cool. And then I always took the side of whether the person was in the wrong or the right, but they were still shot. I still took it very serious on the fact that I never took no judgment because I did notice personnel where I worked at, they did take some judgment, and the judgment would fall into maybe being rude or maybe being, um, just not given the same type of care. Because I felt like if you're in the medical field, you should, that's part of having that license that you have. You put things aside and you do your job, and there should be no judgment there. But obviously, not everybody's perfect like that, and obviously feelings get involved, and depending what happened. Um, but in general, it's a very scary thing when people hear about a gun and their family member being shot. It's not cool. Um, and then there was things that I used to do to make sure that these patients were safe and nobody got to them. And then they were pretty much secret. And this is something that I used to do, and it was pretty cool because I used to feel, I wouldn't say empowered, but I just like I felt I'm taking care of this person, this patient, and I'm being very careful on who asks for them, who comes up, who is even looking for them, who's doing anything with them. And then before that, then there's supposed to be social workers there. They're supposed to jump in and do all that, but then there's too many cases here in Houston, so there's not enough social workers to go around to help. So I guess I'm kind of getting off the subject, but overall, my general meaning is the fact that nobody should ever get shot. And people can say, oh well, I mean, somebody has to protect their home. Now, by far, yes, protection. I believe in the Second Amendment, so yes, by far. But it's just a sad situation all around. I mean, even if it's a gunshot victim that was shot, and then on top of that, they have their mother there looking for them, and even if the person was in the wrong, it's still not right to, look at that mother a different way or anything like that. No, I mean, I mean, you have to treat them with just as much respect as you would treat an ex-president that was attempted that somebody shot at. And then it kind of goes back. So I mean, where I'm getting up to, and then I'm going to show you. But what I'm getting, where I'm going back to, is the fact that you have, when I was in the Navy, they used to talk about complacency, which sometimes you do the repetitive things, and sometimes you might not do, and you just get you so used to it, you kind of just, either you're training a lot, or if you're not training a lot, you kind of forget kind of what is kind of going on, because your mind is so trained, you're kind of like in a way brainwashed just to do what you're doing and to do your job. So I'm not sure what complacency. Like I'm never. I mean, I have nothing. All I'm stepping back from is the fact that we had an attempted assassination. It happened. We have adversaries that are looking at us and then possibly analyzing what we did wrong. Obviously, there was a lot that was done wrong, and somebody dropped the ball on a few things. So, I mean, yet again, it falls back to accountability. I think that's my key word, accountability. But I mean, what do we? I mean, what do you? Okay, and then I go dive into the fact that I mean, per se, say if your child was watching the TV and just, oh yeah, I mean, say you're going for Trump and your child's watching that. Is that fair for the child to see that? I don't think it's fair. I don't think that's cool. That's not the child shouldn't even be seeing that. And it could have been really bad on live TV. Could have been really bad. So I wanted to show y'all where they confronted the. So what happened is they confronted the director of the Secret Service, and they confronted her at the RNC because obviously she has to be there to be overlooking the ex-president and a lot of other things that are going on there. So I just kind of wanted to go into that, and I'll show you what's going on there. And actually, I'm seeing this fresh already, so I haven't even seen what exactly happened. So I'm just gonna look at it and just show y'all. But I mean, like I'm explaining to people, I mean, this is just another example of I don't care. My point is if it's happening, if anything's happening in America, then there needs to be accountability, and this accountability should be shared between everybody. I mean, even my point is whether you like Trump or not. My point is that he's a person, he's a man, he has his beliefs. I served in the Navy, and I did overseas contract work, and all I can say is that I think I've done my part to serve for my country, and the whole reason of me serving was to have I guess Americans. Well, I'm not guessing, but I mean for Americans just to be, I mean to be who they are, be what they want, do what they want, do it safely. So I mean that's what I'm saying. It's kind of just bothers me. I've kind of been kind of on a rant about it, but yeah. So here we go. I guess they're just confronting her.
Every one of us had questions that we wanted to ask. We felt we didn't get any of the responses that were necessary. Very disappointed in the leadership. We have called.
I mean, how can you walk around and just be that? I mean, if it, I mean, it's almost like that joke. You got one job, one job. You got one job.
At a time when you'd already been alerted that there was somebody with a spotter, all these situations
He has no answer.
Identified an hour before.
Just shaking her head.
Let him go on stage without the knowledge of him, the team on the ground, and you will put him within less than an inch of his life. So resignation or full explanation to us right now.
We kept trying to get our questions, and he never was running the phone. It would not have been the director.
We will prove you.
All right. Obviously,
an hour out, you have a suspicion.
You know, they're pointing out these are other congressmen and women, senators, whatever, and they got questions. What happened? And I think she just needs to step down. I mean, you failed. I failed in a lot of things. There's a lot of things I failed at. So, I mean, join the club. There's some things we're not good at, and there's some things we are good at. you know. So I mean, it's just one of those. It's just one of those things that I feel she needs to, really do some reflecting on on what.
We'll leave you for that.
Yeah, we'll wait for you. Yeah. We'll go do your job.
No,
Come back. We'll talk to you then. We're not gonna leave you alone. So that was pretty much what I wanted to come out and talk about. And they start following her. They just keep following her.
No shame, no concern.
Okay, now she really gets to hear.
I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer to us. The answer to us. This is exactly what you're doing today.
This
It's
was
called
an
Stonewall.
assassination attempt. You
You
owe
did
the
nothing.
people answers. You owe President Trump answers.
Go.
Service, you would think there would be other Secret Service there, like pushing them away or telling this is not the time to play. No need for that. But overall, come on. I mean, you're walking into the RNC, Republican National Convention. I mean, look at this. There's just people bum rushing. That's crazy.
You're the head of the Secret Service.
You owe answers.
You owe answers to the Senate, to the House, to the President,
Wow.
past President, and you owe answers to
The president should have this kind of protection.
I mean, it's almost like now they're like almost forcing her to like pretty much get out of the way. Just get out of here.
I'm John Barrasso, chairman of the Senate Republican Conference. And Senator Blackburn and I just went face to face with the director of the Secret Service, asking for specific answers about what happened with President Trump in Pennsylvania and how that shooter was able to get off a clear shot when the FBI and the Secret Service knew that there was a suspicious person an hour in advance of when the shooting occurred.
And they identified a potential threat at 5:51. She would not answer our questions. She wanted to say it was not the time or place. This is after we've been through a conference call today where the question queue got cut off. But I've got a message for her. She can run, but she cannot hide because the American people want to know how an assassination attempt was carried out on former President Donald Trump.
So there it is. She's getting jumped on and told, and so she better be ready. A lot of mad people at her. I mean, I've said it before. It's not like she lost a box or an Amazon or a FedEx package or something, She dropped the ball. She's in charge of the Secret Service. She's the director of the Secret Service. She's supposed to be ready. I mean, if you're a director on that level, a director, and yet again, like I said, I'm going general again because a director, it's almost like the same thing like a CEO of an energy company. It's almost like the CEO of a company called Boeing. So they get to live well and happy and nice, a lot of money, bonuses, go on these extravagant trips every now and then, They get these long vacations, they don't have to do the crappy duty work. Maybe she does because, everything's been going on with the election, so I'm sure it speeds up. It gets up there because of her I mean, all I'm saying it kind of gets moving forward because all these elections. So Now, I wanted to say this too. I do understand, just even in general, things have to be stretched. People were stretched. People were basically stretching themselves to be in these departments. They have to work extra hours, their salary. I don't know how much. I know they do. Secret Service does somewhat very, very well. There's different levels of security that they have. I don't know at all. I just know they have this. It's known as GS levels, and depending what level you are, and when you, when I did the government contract work, that was more of a different other status, but there was also levels on that. If you were part of this level, then you get paid this much money. If you're on that level, you get paid this much money. So, I sympathize on that end with the Secret Service. If there is a man shortage, if there's this or that. But see, then that's when I get mad, because they don't make it easy for a lot of veterans to fast track. I'm not saying to fast track to Secret Service, but just in general, I just know it's a pain in the butt. It's a lot of bureaucracy where it comes to when you apply for somewhere, it takes X amount of months. It takes a minute, just like any other. If you're applying for the fire department, police department, state, any state job, and then also you got, and then you got federal. So it's a long process. But you would think because of that process, it's a long process because they're doing a thorough evaluation of the applicant, making sure that they're up to par, making sure that they're fitted to protect the president. But like I said, I do know they do other jobs, which is watch our currency. So watching our currency, they do watch it. They do monitor different things. Secret Service was ideally to make sure nobody makes fake checks fake, fake treasury checks or fake money. I do know they handle that. They do get a call if somebody, say you go and deposit a bunch of money and then they find out that some of your money was counterfeit. That's a big flag. I know that much. So everybody, I just wanted to come on and speak myself, speak my mind. I definitely have 2 guests popping up, and I want to make it a surprise for some of the fighters of Houston. City fighters are going to be pretty excited for these 2 next fighters I'm gonna have on. I'm looking forward to myself. I'm actually going to space it out to where I am actually going to debut each one. I'm going to debut one next week, hopefully on the following Thursday. I'm up in the air whether I'm going to do live tomorrow or not, because I am recording. But yeah, I'm having a live guest. I'm excited. I can't wait to introduce him, and I have a lot of questions for him because he was kind of influential to me, and I want to base it on the fact that when you make right choices and you start off with a choice and you don't burn a bridge, it's nice to always kind of reflect back and kind of go back and kind of, when you go back and you're reflecting, and then this fighter is a coach, and it was just a meeting, and at the time I know I was kind of lost, I wasn't doing too well, and at the time when I did meet him, if it wasn't for me just asking a question or for me just asking him, I don't know where I would I don't know where I would be right now. So he really doesn't even know this, but I do plan on explaining it on my next episode. So this is going to be part of so this is going to be aside from the weekly updates that I have. This is actually going to be a one-on-one personal episode for Tristan Shop Talk. So all right, everybody. So I just wanted to say thank you for showing, and stay tuned, watch the news. Hopefully there's a few storms coming in this week. So hopefully there's nothing that happens and gets people power turned off, and prayers to the family members that did pass during this storm. So so all right, everybody. So look forward. Please subscribe. please like and please put on the notifications. Later. See y'all later.